Thanks for clicking. You're listening to Time In with yours truly, Tommy Crenshaw. With me tonight is no one. Yes, I'm flying solo. Gonna do my own thing tonight. Give the guys a break. Especially Ricardo. I hope he's kicking up his feet, grabbing a brewski and watching the game. Just enjoying the sport for the sport. So I'm gonna call this thing Tommy's Takes. I'm gonna do a few of these here and there where I just kind of get things off my chest without, without the opposition, where I could just think freely. Not to say that those guys, that they don't. It's a different element. So I'll start by sharing something personal. Today I did not see a green animal that I have run-ins with that time. It's every day. I didn't see a turtle today. That's all I'm trying to say. And those of you who've been listening, I have an issue with turtles in my house, and really in the lawn, but they're coming inside now. They're up to something. It's hard to tell what. I've been stepping on them. So I don't think, I don't know if they're deliberately trying to get me to step on them or there's some other ulterior motive. But it's gotten to the point where I've had a lot of different people out to look at the problem. Nobody knows what to do, what to tell you. It's just nature, they say. So, I did. I'm not being completely honest. So what happened was, I just out of the corner of my eye, and I'm typing some personal sports poetry I've been trying to work on. I'm just, having some, it's like meditative sports poetry. It just gets you, clears your head. And in the corner of my eye of this window, I see something staring at me. You always feel like when something's staring at you, it's just some weird innate thing that we know somebody's staring at you. There's good stares, there's bad stares, sometimes there's puzzling stares. You ever been in a restaurant and you see just some guy, like at some table, that's just kind of, he's not like super old, but he's old enough to be, maybe he's got something's going on, and he's staring at you, and you look at him, and he's not a guy you're gonna challenge. You don't beat on an old guy. So you just give him a smile. Like, hey, how's it going, kind of thing. So nod your head. But he doesn't nod his head. He just opens his mouth, and your food starts falling out of his mouth, and then he starts banging on the table with a fork. And now you don't know what's going on. So you're trying to look away, but then the banging gets louder, and then finally you take a bun, a roll from your table, if you had a nice steak place, and you throw it and you hit the guy in the head. And that was a long time ago, and it was settled out of court and cost me a marriage. But but stairs, so I always think of stuff like that. Stairs are crazy. And so I'm looking, and I turn to look, and there's one of the animals, the turtles, is staring at me through a window. And then he quickly just drops down, right? And then he like bounces back up, like higher than he was, like he's on a trampoline. And I don't even want to think there's like a mat there below the window. This where my kids, when they were younger, they used to sell like frozen treats to neighborhood kids. They come up to the window and they give them a couple bucks, and but there's still a mat. But that mat's not like, I don't think you could anything could bounce off like that. So you had to have like another guy helping him out or something, or built some. I didn't want to think about this. I'm going to invest my time to investigate, because I think he was doing it for attention, and I'm not here to give them these little things attention. It's going to go to heads. So I just I try to pretend like I didn't see it, and I told myself, I said, you didn't see a turtle. I said, you know what? You saw a fat lizard. That's what you saw. I mean, lizards could be fat. I mean, they probably struggle with the same things humans do. They might overindulge at a buffet, or they gamble, or they do stuff like in the Philippines. I heard that some of them watch people smoking So they started these like the bigger lizards, but then who's lighting the cigarettes? So I don't know that that's true. It's just stuff people told me. But anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked here. So there's something that's kind of I want to congratulate somebody. I mean, I don't know the guy, but I want to congratulate as we're watching the Olympics, and like my take on the Olympics, both of them, the summer and the winter, is that there's a handful of really good, interesting sports. There's some great competitions. There's some great athletes, great storylines. It's just a great time. But then it's surrounded with garbage, with things that should not be called sports, with things that are embarrassing. Like imagine if you won a gold in like a water polo, or something like that. And, you're a single guy, and somebody tells a girl, yeah, he was Olympian, and she goes over this place, and she sees a gold medal, because of course he's got it displayed like in some like bright lights and surrounded with neon and a disco ball over it or something like that. And she's like, oh, so tell me a story. How did you become a gold medalist? And he says, yeah, my buddy invited me on the water polo team. And right then, like before you can turn around, she's out the door. She doesn't want to have anything to do with that circus act. And that's what the Olympics are going to turn into. You're going to start seeing like jugglers and hot air balloon races and just stuff like that that's just so gimmicky and ridiculous. You're trying to get you're trying to create games that people don't practice a whole lot, maybe in important countries. So that way, like the lesser important countries could start to feel important. You're trying to make them feel good. So you give them stuff like, it'll be like sock puppet weaving. I mean, no, that's silly. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know where the line is my point. I mean, it's not going to be sock puppet weaving. That's, like I said, that's me just being funny. But there could be something like I don't know, like involving a textile achievements or something. Some of these countries that make shirts and stuff that you read in the back of when you're trying to get dressed and you realize you put the shirt on backwards and you see where your shirt was made. But they, so the Olympics get silly, but there's some real sports. And I give the sport a hard time a lot, is baseball. I know it's becoming a snooze fest, and they're coming up with creative ways to cheat, creative ways to do this and that, and to try to make it exciting. And I think they will. I think they'll get it right. And I still love the game. The game's great. It's a great American game, but it's also a very global game, too. They took it away from the Olympics, and they brought it back, right, for the Olympics with Japan, who is an amazing baseball country. And you're not just them. You got not far from them, you got the South Koreans, the Caribbean or Caribbean or Carib, whatever the third way to pronounce the islands. They got the baseballs down there. They got Australia, Colombia. They got other South Americans. The point is that it's a global sport. Oh yeah, the Canadians are decent at it. They're maybe not that great, but they play some games. The Blue Jays and stuff like that. Even though most of the Blue Jays are American, but they so my point is great sport, and there is a player on the team, Eddie Alvarez, is his name. People say Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, I saw him fight and beat up this guy. I'm like, no, there's a MMA guy, Eddie Alvarez, who's a great talent. But this is a different Eddie Alvarez. He, they got the two Tony Hardings, right? They got the softball and the ice skating one. And you don't want to confuse those two. But Eddie Alvarez, the baseball player, he is up in line to win a medal in both the winter and summer games. And that has been done only twice before. Funny star character. I have to make that declaration because it has happened twice before. But the other sport that the person wasn't good at, that the athlete wasn't good at, was a silly sport that shouldn't be in the Olympics, in my opinion, so it shouldn't count. So the other sport is bobsled. That's the one where a friend could get you involved and ask you to come. So you ride in that silly ice canoe, and You move your weight a little bit and stuff like that, and then you get a medal. And it's garbage. It should not be a game. You don't know. No, who knows when the bobsled season is? Tell me when the bobsled season is. Is it a bobsled season? I mean, like, I never see it on TV. I only see it during the Olympics. That's the Winter Olympics. I mean, I think they tried it a couple times. I was reading in the Summer Games or something like that. I mean, they put some wheels on it. See, that's what the rollerblade guys out in California should be doing. Instead of doing the roller hockey, they should do like roller bobsled. Try to make that more competitive. Race each other directly. Instead of just doing the time trial, have like 3 of them on a course at the same time. And maybe let them like knock each other out, something like that, fly off the ice. I mean, that's gonna be an easy move to make. I don't know how you're gonna, but they could do some stuff like that with the blades, roller blades, but anyways, not a sport in my opinion. And all due respect to the two people that had done it before was Eddie Egan was a boxer, got medaled. This is like 100 years ago, and then he did the bobsled thing. And Lauren Williams, who is a highly decorated track and field, a track star, really. She's amazing. She's got a bunch of medals of her own, and she's just phenomenal. But then she started bobsledding, and she's like, come on with this garbage. Bobsledding is not a sport that needs to be done, but Eddie Alvarez, no bobsled. You know what his winter games is? People that follow Olympics know. He is a speed skater. So he's on the blades, skating. He's not doing those little like triple axle, Dweezil Zappas, whatever they called. He's not doing that kind of stuff. He's was speed skating. I mean, like super fast, flying around. The guy's from Florida too, and he was doing, and he did dip into like the silliness of rollerblades for a minute, and he wised up and started getting on the ice and started doing some cool stuff. And yeah. So he's got silver from Sochi, and that's impressive. So now he's got at least got the silver in baseball. And he plays, they're doing these guys that are like either retired baseball players or they're up and coming guys that are playing. Because the MLB guys are like doing their season. So this guy plays for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. And, Jacksonville's a very underrated sports town. And that's a good team. So this is, in my opinion, going to be the first. He'll at least get the silver because they're going to play. It's going to be like 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. They got to play Japan. And that's going to be, I think they lost to Japan earlier. So this is kind of like, this is all or nothing. Not all or nothing. Your gold or silver. Who's kidding who? It's not all or nothing. So I just want to congratulate Eddie Alvarez for at least getting 2 silvers, one in the winter and one in the summer. Maybe a gold is in there. We'll see. And once again, all due respect to the talented athletes that do get in bobsled. I don't want to have these people hating or people hating on them and sending them bad messages and stuff like that. They're great athletes at other stuff. They just decide to get into a boat on ice and try to, they're being a little greedy. They're overstepping just a little bit. They're putting their hand deep into the cake when they should have just grabbed a slice. And now the hand is all the way in the cake, and it's embarrassing. So, Eddie Alvarez, congratulations. The other ones, congratulations on your one either Winter or Summer Olympics, whichever one you choose. And that's the end of the game. You've been listening to Time In. This has been Tommy Crenshaw, TTFN.